Hi, I'm Dr. Eleni Meletiadou, and I would like to thank you for your invitation. My presentation will discuss how I integrated educational digital storytelling in the writing classroom at GSPL. Basically, this is an intervention study at level 4. The aim is to promote this move towards a 21st century academic literacy in higher education. So let me provide a brief description of the study. I will start with a definition of EDS. So according to research, educational digital storytelling, the so-called EDS, is a pioneering, learning-oriented, technology-enhanced approach which allows students to develop a wide range of academic and professional skills. EDS has been reported to enhance collaborative skills, teamwork skills, communication skills, basically because it engages students in collaborative work, such as co-working to improve the stories and co-creating stories, which was found to improve students' social skills. So basically, what happens with the EDS is that students become better at communicating their ideas and listening to different views and perspectives from their peers. This builds on the research where making, crafting, and sharing of stories are at the heart of human experience and social transformations. Various studies have been conducted, and these indicate, in different contexts, of course, these indicate that EDS provides numerous benefits to learners. For example, affective, because it enhances motivation; cognitive, because it develops students' critical thinking; conceptual, because it enhances understanding; academic, because it develops students' skills; technological, because it enhances students' IT skills; and finally social, because it promotes interaction. So the current study used a mixed methods research design. There was one lecturer, that is myself, and I taught 50 level 4 students in terms of the MN 4057 module. I was the module leader, and for these students I was their seminar tutor. So I used EDS for a whole academic semester. The study explored the use of EDS with multilingual and multicultural business students to help them improve their writing and professional skills and enhance their motivation towards writing in the post-COVID era, promoting experiential learning. So 50 first-year students were asked to write their own digital stories using either blogs, websites, and some of them also used video presentations. Students could choose, and they were engaged in interactive seminars for a whole academic semester. So these level 4 students were asked to participate in this study in terms of my module, as I said, and they were asked to prepare a digital report which would tell a digital story. So they chose a website of a company. They did their own research on the company's website and and explored its online business strategies. And then they presented their story. They submitted their digital story at the end of the academic semester. Students also had to submit a self-reflective report in which they provided answers to a number of questions. These reports were analyzed to explore students' perception of the benefits of EDS on their digital literacy, application of theory into practice, critical thinking, reflection, and self-reliance. We ask students to provide feedback every 2 or 3 weeks via Mentimeter, and we thematically analyzed these findings as well. I also used pre versus post tests. Basically, before the implementation, I asked students to write a short report, and I asked them to write a similar report at the end of the experiment. I compared pre versus post test scores, and I will discuss the findings later on. The two research questions this study tried to explore are the following. what is the impact of EDS on level 4 students' writing performance, and what is the impact of EDS on level 4 students' motivation. Let me now discuss my central findings. So in terms of writing performance, I compared students pre versus post tests to examine the impact of EDS on students' writing performance. I also had a second assessor who marked 20% of these reports. It was myself and a fellow lecturer. We were involved in rater training, in terms of which we marked 3 scripts, a high quality, an average, and a low quality one. We utilized the same rubric, of course, which I personally designed. And the second rater, as I said, was a colleague. So the inter-rater reliability was estimated by calculating the similarity percentage, and this was 94%. So the high percentage basically confirmed that students' grades were reliable. And what we found is that there were statistically significant differences between learners pre and post test. We detected that students' writing performance increased by almost 20%. This indicated that EDS had a significant impact on students' academic achievement. Also, Cohen's effect size values were explored, and they suggested a large effect size and high practical importance for the impact of EDS on students' writing achievement. So this outcome is no surprise to me, because this is consistent with previous research in other contexts, of course, and previous studies have indicated that EDS is a viable approach which can be used to boost students' writing performance. This happens because EDS provides an authentic context which allows students to work on real-life tasks. This motivates learners and inspires them to put additional effort and improve their academic performance, as they find EDS tasks more enjoyable. Moreover, as a multimodal writing tool, it allows students to use a variety of elements, for example, infographics and postcards, in addition to the written text. Therefore, they can convey their intended messages and present the associated theories much more vividly and powerfully. So let me refer now to the qualitative findings of this study. This indicated that students thought that EDS enhanced their digital, professional, and critical thinking skills. It improved their writing skills. This is what students thought. Despite on top of the findings with their scores in the pre versus post tests, they thought that it increased their motivation and self-confidence and developed their intercultural awareness, partially confirming previous research in similar settings. So involving and motivating learners is always crucial for effective learning, and educators should prepare meaningful activities to increase learners' interest and engagement and foster active learning. Previous studies have indicated that the use of technology enhances writing performance and students' attitude towards learning in technology-rich classes. So according to the qualitative findings of the current study, EDS promotes authentic learning, as students often use their own personal stories, which they integrate with theory, creating compelling content. So after completing challenging tasks successfully, students who develop their autonomy due to the use of EDS become more self-confident and reflective, and adopt a more positive attitude towards learning. Thus, the current study indicated that EDS emphasizes various motivational constructs such as task significance, autonomy for learning, and reflective practice, confirming previous research. However, we also had some challenges. There were some mature students who reported that they faced challenges while, for example, using IT tools. These needed additional training to use certain elements, for example, podcasts, in their stories. And they also needed more time to prepare the digital story compared to an ordinary written assignment. So overall, students' identities were reflected in the digital story, shared in terms of the current implementation, And final conclusions identified the affordances of multilingual EDS in hopefully creating an interculturally oriented curriculum in higher education around the world. These findings were also confirmed by my personal observations as I encourage students to use not only English but also their own native languages when as they interacted while they prepared their own digital stories. Let me now discuss the implications of this study and my personal recommendations. So, according to the findings of this study, I believe that students should be offered systematic training and support before using EDS to avoid any discrimination. I'm sorry. So, digital narration in this case created a psychologically safe and supportive foundation for intercultural and multilingual cooperation and learning. I believe that lecturers should also emphasize the product and the process of learning as learners develop their academic skills while preparing their digital story. So it's not only about how they learn this, what they produce, but also the whole process of learning. I believe that lecturers should also focus on assessing students' writing skills rather than the elements that students use to make their stories more attractive. Moreover, they should have a detailed plan, and this should be used to guide their students. This plan should help them understand the reasons why they're expected to engage in EDS and the benefits this might bring to them in terms of their academic development. So lecturers should also have clear assessment criteria and ensure these match their curricular goals. Otherwise, the implementation would not be successful and certainly unfair for some students. So in terms of the challenges that students faced, as digital literacy is a main problem for some learners, for example, mature students, these learners should be offered, as I said, systematic training and support before using EDS and while using it as well. This will facilitate the use of this innovative approach, which has a statistically important impact on students' writing and overall academic performance. In conclusion, the current study aspired to increase cooperation and understanding among students from various cultural backgrounds, as is the norm at London Met, and support them in exchanging ideas for teaching practices. The literature indicates that digital narratives enhance effective visualization of reflections and ideas, which enables sharing multicultural views and thoughts. Also, digital narration created, as I said, a psychologically safe and supportive foundation for cooperation and learning, as learners in the current study were also allowed to include words from their own native language when using, for example, additional elements in infographic. Consequently, by adopting EDS in my class, I believe that I was able to create a space which promoted intercultural awareness and multilingual interaction in terms of this undergraduate module. I believe that the internationalization of higher education can be apprehended as an exchange among various cultures. So defending this stance, more initiative should be undertaken to promote digital learning, intercultural learning, and communication among local and international students. So additional research, I believe that additional research is necessary on the use of EDS in as is the norm multicultural and multilingual higher education institutions. Future research needs to explore the use of EDS in other academic programs. For example, we could explore it at the doctoral level or take into consideration other types of course delivery, for example, blended learning. This is increasingly popular due to the recent COVID-19 crisis. So all in all, considering the current study, EDS seems to be a powerful tool for lecturers in higher education who would like to enrich traditional courses and allow students, especially at the undergraduate level, to have access to and become proficient in the 21st century multimodal literacies. So I would like to thank you for your attention. Please contact me if you have any questions or would like to work with me on a related project. I would like to inform you that I'm now working on a new project into technology enhanced learning and assessment. This project will experiment with augmented reality powered learning and assessment in higher education. I hope I'll be here again next year to discuss the findings of this study as well. Thank you.